Hello, iWaited family. This is Mimi, and we're coming back with another installment of the features for the married couples. And tonight, I have the distinct honor of having Lori and her husband OJ on. Say hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
What up? Aren't they a cute couple? So we're going to start off with prayer, and then we'll go into the questions. I know you guys love that part. So you can bow your heads if you like. I'm going to bow my head. So great God, we thank you for this night. We thank you for this opportunity, God. I thank you for the you're trusting me with this blog and this ministry. I pray tonight that as we come together and Lori and OJ share their story and their testimony, God, I pray that you use them to bless others. You use them to encourage others. You use them, Lord God, to push someone to do it the way that you've called us to do it, Lord. I pray that you bless their marriage, bless their home, Lord God, and continue to bless their family. And we love you so much, and we pray that this bring glory and honor to your name and take your name across the world. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. You about to start preaching.
I am a minister in training at my church, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know I'm called to preach. So totally not my idea. Okay, so we'll get started with the questions. So Lori and OJ, tell us a little bit about yourselves separately.
Okay. My name is Lori Flowers. I was born in Indianapolis, grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, went to college in Nashville, Tennessee, went to graduate school at Arizona State, currently live in Atlanta, where I'm the marketing director for Radio 1 Atlanta. And that's about it for me.
My name is OJ Flowers, born in Montgomery, Alabama, raised primarily in Southern California, attended Arizona State where I originally met Lori, and moved to Atlanta here about 12 years ago now, and reside here in Atlanta. Love the South and do pizza. I'm a pizza franchisee owner and also an executive assistant to my pastor at our church.
Oh, nice. Okay, so what pizza franchisee are you?
Hungry Howie's Pizza, home of the original free flavored crust, based out of Michigan.
Oh, nice. And what church do you all go to?
We go to Providence Missionary Baptist Church in Southwest Atlanta.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so how did the two of you meet?
Okay, so we met in college, Arizona State. I was in grad school. He was in undergrad. And we were friends. That was about it. We hung out a little bit. And then after he graduated and I graduated, we eventually moved on. Fast forward to many years later, I was on Facebook and he did a check-in at a local cupcake spot here in Atlanta. And I said, I commented, I was like, what are you doing in my city? He was like, this is my city. I live here. So we kind of went back and forth, the inboxes, how you doing? Good to hear from you, blah, blah, blah. But nothing ever really, came from that. Mm-hmm. A few years later, sent another note, and he was very serious at that point. He's like, let's get together. I'd love to see you and catch up. Really innocent. So he sent another note to say, let's figure out what we're going to do. I invited him to one of my work events. It was the Atlanta Football Classic here in Atlanta. And I said, we'll just go to the game, hang out, catch up. Who knows? So we hung out. I met him. He met me at my apartment, met him downstairs. He still laughs at that. Met him downstairs. He hopped in my car. We drove to the game, had a great time, spent the entire day together. And that's really, that's what started it. Yeah, that's how we met.
That's how we reconnected through Facebook, like she said, knew her in college. We're just friends, hung out, a group of us just as friends. And when I saw her on Facebook, I was like, oh, let's connect, try to see what's going on, just kind of social connection. And then when I got in the car, met her, I was like, oh, you still have that $1 million smile. And then it just kind of went on from there. We kind of spent that whole day together, kind of hanging out and kind of enjoying each other, talking and getting to know one another.
Yeah. I always thought he was cute in college, though. I always thought he was cute.
Aw.
I did. It was one of those like, oh, he's cute, but
right. Cute at a distance.
Yeah.
Cool. So how long did you guys date and how long was your engagement?
We dated for, I think about 9 months, 6-9 months. And we were engaged for 9 months as well. If it was up to me, we probably would have been engaged a shorter period of time. But, you know, she wanted a wedding and things of that nature. So we kind of took our time with it and things of that nature. But that's pretty much it. If it was up to me, it would have been shorter. But
yeah,
I was
he did say
satisfied.
that. Yeah. I wanted a wedding and I wanted time to plan it, but he was ready. We got engaged in August and he was like, September would have been fine for you.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
When I knew, I knew. When we first reconnected, when we first started, you know, we went to that Atlanta Classic game, hung out. That next day, I was so intrigued by her that I called her and said, "What are you doing after church? Let's meet again and have dinner." And so we met over dinner, and she's just talking, and I'm just listening. I'm going, "Okay, who are you, and where have you been my whole life? Because this can't be." The things that she was saying was just kind of resonating with my spirit, and so I knew instantly. I remember talking to my mom, and mom's like, "Well, who are you seeing again? Who are you going to hang out with?" She was very inquisitive when she would call me and say, "You know, what are you doing? You know, what you come by and have dinner or whatever the case may be." I'm like, "No, I'm actually meeting a friend." "Who's this friend you're hanging out with?" And I said, "Mom, she's special. She really is special."
Oh, I love it. So the saying kind of goes true: when a guy knows, he knows.
Yes.
So before, when you all were friends and, you know, I guess platonic friends, did you not think, okay, well, maybe, or in those years before, you never thought about maybe pursuing her, or what made this time different?
I think timing, for one thing. I mean, back then we were in college. It was just kind of a group, you know, friends hung out. You know, a lot of the African-American students hung out and kind of hung out together, but at a predominantly white institution. But this time was different just because things were just resonating. Maybe it's just where I was spiritually, and things that kind of spoke to me when she really was speaking, and the things that she wanted to do about her being pure. I was like, okay, this is kind of the track that I'm on. And at the time, I'm just letting her talk because she's just getting it all out. And I was getting things out so she would know where I was as well. But I was taking it in. And then I think like a week or so later, we went out to lunch or dinner again. And I said, "Hey, I want to respect your pinky promise and your purity." And that's kind of the route that we took with our relationship. I think it was just kind of the timing where we both were spiritually. I don't think we were at the spiritual place back then that we were currently when we got started court.
No, yeah.
Okay. And so one of the things you said is in the beginning, you guys, the subject of sex did come up, not so the purity and the abstaining did come up early in your conversations when you reconnected. Was it part of like a natural part of the conversation, or was it something intentional?
I think it was, to me, I think it was natural.
I was going to say it was natural and it was intentional. Where I was in my life and my journey, I had joined an organization called Pinky Promise, which is a promise to honor Christ with your life and your body. And I was really committed to keeping my promise. And so anyone I would go out with, whether it was platonic, you know, a guy that wanted to date me, I would share with them about my journey. And in previous times, if I shared that with a guy, he would laugh at me and say, you know, "Good luck with that."
Right.
You know, OJ is really interested. So when he's interested, I'm telling him more about my journey and where I've come and where I'm trying to go. And I was just really excited that he was interested, and it warmed my heart. I was excited about that.
Okay. And so this question is for the both of you. What got you to the place where you wanted to abstain, wanted to be pure? Like what led you up to that journey or that decision?
Mine would be, I came to a point where I knew I wanted to be somebody's wife, and I knew that I wasn't doing it the right way. I was doing it my way because my way was comfortable. My way was fun. My way was, let me hang out with him. He's great on paper. He's this and that. I'm going to make him be my husband. I'm going to make him, you know, like me. I'm going to do this because he's going to choose me. But my way wasn't the right way. And once I really started getting closer in my journey with Christ, the more I would read and the more I would study, I realized that, you know, that doesn't honor the Lord, and he doesn't want that you save that for your husband. And so I literally had to do a life change, and I had to, I felt like I was stripped of a lot of things. I was stripped of friends. I was stripped of randoms, and randoms are guys you just hang out with. They fill a void. They just waste your time. So I was stripped of everything. It was a lonely season, but it was a very fulfilling season. And that's when I realized that I was on the right path, because I do know if you're stripped of all stuff that was hanging on you, you can't help but attract something good to you.
Right.
For me, I wanted something that was genuine. And I think the premarital sex and things of that nature, although your flesh kind of desires some of those things, so that's natural, especially I think as a man, I think that it clouds really what you're looking for. I mean, you can start to get kind of jaded and say, well, okay, I'll accept this because, you know, I enjoy the sexual piece of it. And that's just really not it. I wanted something real and genuine. I was married before and was divorced. And so I wanted something just really real and something that's true. It was just kind of ironic because I remember years ago praying, you know, I want A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And she was it. And it was, I even wanted, even at that time, I was going to abstain from sex and things of that nature, and focus on purity and focus on Christ and let that kind of be the driving force there. So those are the things that were kind of coming back and resonating within me, like, okay, she's hitting everything that I've talked. I mean, it was kind of scary at some point. Like, I was kind of like, okay, well, can we go out to dinner again? I kept looking, you know, I'm like, can we go out to dinner again? I mean, I just wanted to make sure I was hearing the things that I was hearing and get confirmation. Okay, you said this, so tell me a little bit more about your purity and your pinky promise. Tell me a little bit more about your walk with Christ. Tell me a little bit more about where you're going and what's driving you. And to me, that was it. That was what, you know, kind of connected. That was like, okay, we may have something here. And so that continued pursuit.
Right. Nice. So you were making sure she was being serious and for real.
I believe she was serious. I just needed to hear, you know, sometimes you'd be like, okay, let me hear this again to make sure I'm hearing what I'm hearing, you know. I think partly for myself more so than her being serious. I believed her because I think we joke now. I'm like, yeah, that's probably why you had me meet you downstairs of your apartment. I wasn't trying to come into your apartment and things of that nature. And so it's that whole little process. We always joke about that.
So OJ, I always get the men who say that they've had sex before and there's just literally no way that they can wait to have sex until marriage. And even with my brother, like my brothers think I'm completely crazy. Just in the fact that, you know, they just worry about the fact that I may get the wrong guy or I may not be satisfied sexually when I get married. And so what do you say to the men who feel like they have to test it out before they get married? And what are some of the things that help you to abstain and to stick to that? Yeah,
I don't believe that's the case. I believe that we can do things the way that God intended for things to be. If it wasn't possible, it wasn't so, he wouldn't have said that. To me, if a guy really, really respects the woman and really wants that to be his wife, then he's going to not only be pure for her and respect her, but he's also going to do it for himself. So to me, it's not necessarily you're doing it for the woman. You're doing it more as a self-control, a self-respect type of thing. Because if you can't control yourself while you're single, I'm not sure what makes you think you can control yourself when you're married. It doesn't become any different. There's still other women who is out there. There's still other distractions and things of that nature that comes out there. So you can't say, well, once I get married, I'm going to be faithful.
Right.
There's no such thing. Either you're going to be faithful or you're not going to be faithful.
Right.
Faithful and abstaining is just part of that. It's respecting. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a long engagement. It doesn't have to be, you know, I think when guys know, as we mentioned before, they know. And then they're going to respect that. Otherwise, I think guys just as a man may get a lot of beef from this, but that's okay. We say what women want to hear in order to get what we want. And so when I hear a guy say they can't abstain from sex, they're basically just saying you're not the one I want to spend my life with. And so I'm going to say what you want to hear or try to manipulate you in a way to get what I want to get. And neither one, that's not a match for neither person.
Wow, that's good.
Some things that help me, I mean, and from that as well, I think guys, we tend to know what drives us or takes us towards that impurity mark when you're talking about abstaining. And so if it's listening to music or watching certain type of movies that we just wouldn't go see, just maybe because of the high context of sexual content in it. Those are things you just got to not put yourself in there. You don't want to test yourself when you're already it's hard enough to kind of abstain. So you don't want to test yourself even more by watching, certain movies or listening to certain music or things of that nature, especially when you're together.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree. So in what ways do you think keeping sex out of your relationship benefited the relationship?
Oh, absolutely. It made us talk. It made us communicate. It made us get to know each other mentally, spiritually, things of that nature. To me, I believe the physical piece will always come. God's not going to give you somebody and connect you with someone that he's connecting you with mentally and spiritually. And then all of a sudden you're not going to physically connect. I don't believe that's even a possibility. But it allowed us to talk. We used to go out to eat and have a bag of questions we would put in a bag, and we wrote out questions, kind of detailed questions. So by the time we went to marriage counseling with our pastor, things before that, we had pretty much talked about everything. And so, we take out the bag and questions, how do you feel about X, Y, and Z, or how many kids do you want? What is your ideal relationship look like, and things, just different things. And it was fun. I'm like, this is kind of corny at first, but then when we actually started to do it, I was so excited. I was actually like, okay, we have any more questions in the bag? We have any more questions?
Shake them up and ask the questions.
Yeah, so that was fun because it really got us to actually talk and communicate and understand which of the others kind of moves each other.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. I love the question in the bag thing. You guys should make that like a game and sell it.
Right. There you go. Good idea.
Yes, you definitely should. Because I think a lot of people do not ask the questions that need to be asked before marriage. And then you get into the marriage and you want 10 kids and he wants none.
Right.
And
there's no problem.
So yeah. My next question is, were you ever tempted to give in to sex during your courtship?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely there.
I mean, it's real.
It's not easy.
You do, and then you just have to say at the end, it's not worth it. The reward, I think, at the end is greater by abstaining than it is to giving it. That's going to be a temporary satisfaction when you're going to look back on it afterwards and be like, why did we do that? That it just wasn't worth it to us.
Right. So what boundaries did you all put in place to help you with the temptation, to help you not even get to the point where you would be, in a compromising position?
Yeah, I think the boundaries, like we talked about, was the movies, the certain movies. And we did go to movies, just certain movies. The music, the dinners, out
in public,
doing things in a public atmosphere. Church. When we went to a funeral out of town, different beds and things of that nature, the things that kind of put you in that position.
Okay, so this is a question: traveling out of town. So for couples that are courting, separate bedrooms or same bedroom but two separate beds?
I think it depends on where they're at, really. I do. I think we were able to do same bedroom, but two different beds. We also had our, now my mother-in-law in the room next to us. So it wasn't like too much was going to be happening anyway, but definitely different beds. But if people know themselves, if you're kind of teetering along that, don't even make that, take that risk, go ahead and get separate bedrooms. But I think it depends on where they're at.
Okay. And so getting married, what do you think has been the biggest transition from being a single person to now joining and becoming one and meshing two lives?
You can carry on. What has been the biggest trend? You know what? I would say for me as a single woman, a very independent single woman that I was, is letting go of things. As small as going to the grocery store and carrying all the bags. He won't let me carry anything. When we go on a trip, he won't let me carry my bags. And I'm not complaining, but I'm so used to dealing with everything. The car has to get the oil changed, all that stuff. And it's just, I write my list out. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He's already done it. And it's just, that's not a bad transition, but it was interesting. It's been interesting to watch me adjust to this, know that somebody is going to take care of it for me.
Right.
And then on, the fact that we have abstained and then we're free to do it, it's just kind of.
It's like I won't say it's awkward, but it's now because you condition yourself and your mind to kind of abstain. So now as you now that you're married and your stuff, it's kind of like almost like, I won't say almost being like a virgin, but almost like being a virgin, and you're kind of getting to know each other in that sense. And so that's always new and fresh. I think sometimes people will be like, oh, well, once we're married, you're just gonna go. I think kind of like, oh, wait, we can actually, you know,
it's okay.
make love, it's okay. And so that adaptation and change is different as well.
Oh, this is another question. So I had another couple who they dated, I think 5 years, broke up for 2, and then started dating again, but abstained in the second part of their relationship. And then got married. And for them, they felt as if, even though they had had sex with each other before, coming into covenant marriage, having abstained, it was almost as if they had never had sex before. And so I know one of my prayers is for God to erase, you know, those memories, so I don't compare my future husband to, you know, anyone I've been with in the past. Do you believe, or did you experience it being like a fresh new thing? Because it's not the first time I've heard it. And so I find that to be interesting, that it's almost as if they've never had sex before. And I think it's kind of interesting.
Absolutely. And that's what I was saying. It's almost like you're being a virgin again, because you really, it's new. And because I think you condition your mind and your body that it becomes really new. And so, you know, you have to kind of get to know each other, and then you talk about that. And the good thing is, when you have the courting period and you learn to talk and communicate with each other, then you also have to communicate, you know, each other's wants and desires in that arena as well.
It is new. You're learning that person. So that's the exciting part. All that and it's whatever. So I definitely think that couples can have something new again.
Yeah. So I just think there's always hope for the people who feel like maybe they've been with too many people, or whatever the situation is, that they can't experience a brand new sexual experience with their partner.
You can.
You can. It's never too late.
Amen.
Never too late.
You can, definitely.
Amen. Good. Why do you think God asked us to abstain before marriage?
Because that is meant for your husband or your wife. You build soul ties. And that's one thing that I dealt with, is soul ties, you know, way while back. And people don't understand that. A soul tie is strong. And a soul tie will have you doing stuff for somebody you shouldn't be doing. That's not your husband. That is not your wife. But a soul tie is meant to be connected to your husband. So that's what the Lord, he made that for a husband and wife.
Right.
To grow together.
Yeah, absolutely.
OJ?
I agree. I think that, I mean, I agree. I think that that you become connected to people spiritually when you're having intercourse and sex with them. And so abstaining with people who you are not supposed to be covenant connected to. And so when you do that with your wife, it becomes special, it becomes a covenant thing. You're becoming one. That's what I think God intended for his plan. And I think that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay, cool. Do you have any final thoughts, any words of encouragement for those who will watch your interview, and just a way to encourage them in their walk, in their journey of purity?
For the ladies, I would say, I hear so many young ladies will reach out and say, I'm waiting for him, and oh, my time is up, and oh, my clock is ticking. God already has a plan. He is the ultimate matchmaker. And I used to hear people say that and would kind of laugh, like, really? Okay. But I really do believe that. He's got somebody for you, but you've got to honor him. When you honor him, and it may be lonely, you may be bored, focus on other stuff, because he's preparing that person for you. Right. He was preparing OJ for me a long time ago. I just didn't know. And I was being prepared for you. And so ladies, just relax, get busy, get in your Bible, get on your face, study, pray, and just be the best you. Because when you are the best you and you focus, he will find you. Because I was kind of minding my business, being the best me, and lo and behold, here he comes. And I feel like I was ready at that point, because I wasn't keeping randoms around me, and I wasn't, still running around doing stuff. I was sitting still and waiting for my husband to find me.
Right.
Yeah, and then for me, I say be patient. It is possible. You may get a lot of tease and ridicule and jokes from friends and things of that nature, but people are going to say something about whatever you do. And so that shouldn't deter you. I think what's most important is kind of just staying and keeping your focus on Christ, following his lead and his direction of what he desires for you. His plans are better than what we can even imagine or think.
So true.
And so if he has that special someone out there for you, stay faithful to him, focus on him, work on yourself. And then when that person comes, not only respect that woman, but respect yourself and stay pure, because ultimately that's going to benefit you in the long run. It's going to make things like we talked about before. It's going to be able to make your marriage fresh and renewed and things of that. And you're going to want your wife more than you ever wanted before. And so it's definitely possible. I hear a lot of guys, it's funny because she talks about the girls. I hear a lot of guys say, hey, there's no good girls out there. There's just, the big girls and things of that nature. But guys are looking and wanting this. I hear a lot of guys wanting and looking for that exact same thing too. I said, we need to have some type of conference to get these people two together. But really, there really is. And so there's guys, as you know, there's women out there who are wanting and desire the same thing. And just be patient. God will make it work out for you in the end.
Yes. Amen. You guys. So, guys, as we close out Inez and OJ's interview, check them out. Inez, you're going to have to send me links to anything that you're doing so that I can include it in the blog post.
I will.
And if you just want to say quickly, if you have any social media handles, any websites, you can.
Sure. Instagram, Twitter is Lori Inez, LORIINEZ, and Facebook is Lori Flowers.
Facebook for me is OJ Flowers, pretty simple. I'm on Instagram as That Dude OJ, and that's that as D as in David, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, Dude OJ. That dude OJ.
Okay, good. And if your Hungry Howie's is in Atlanta?
I'm Hungry Howie's Pizza. I have a store in Michigan, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and also in Gwinnett County in Georgia as well. Nice.
So check out OJ's Hungry Howie's in those different places. And also, Lori, are you anywhere else? You said you're with Radio 1?
Yes, Radio 1 Atlanta. So if you are in Atlanta, check us out. Hot 107.9, Magic 107.5, Praise 102.5, Boom 102.9. They're all on the websites if you want to listen online. I'm not on the air, but I'm behind the scenes. We do some really great things in the community. And I am Radio Chick. That's my hashtag. Our hashtag, though, is Flowers for Life. We forgot to talk about that.
Oh, what is
Flowers
that? Tell us.
Huh?
Tell us, what is Flowers for Life?
Flowers for Life, one thing that when we were courting, I told him, I love flowers. And his last name, or our last name now, is Flowers. So I was like, I love flowers. He said, well, what if I gave you flowers for life? And so I was just melted. Like, of course, flowers for life. Yes. So our hashtag on Instagram, you can see wedding pictures and that type of thing, Flowers for Life. And it's flowers, number 4, and then life.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to check that out tonight. Okay. You guys were a joy. Thank you so much for being so transparent, for just being willing to share your testimony. And I really believe you're going to bless so many people, especially I had difficulties getting on with you all tonight. I just know there was a reason for the blog. And I just thank you for allowing me to interview you and allowing me to put you on our blog. And I just thank you for everything. So I hope you have a great night. And yeah, I'm always on Mimi5383 on Instagram or iWaited blog on Instagram. And you have my email, so you can email me anytime about anything. So, okay.
Awesome. Thank you for having us, and thank you for doing what you're doing, because there is not enough, we get a lot of trash so often just on regular TV. And so we appreciate you doing what you're doing to kind of show people there is a different way. There is a better way, a more prosperous way. And so we appreciate what you're doing to change souls and save lives.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.